Hi Rahul, shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you explain about yourself, Rahul?
Yeah. Thanks, Ashok. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I am Rahul Kumar. I did my BTech Computer Science from JNT University and completed it in 2022. And I'm currently looking for the opportunity. So I have undergone training for this as a full stack developer, and I have learned core Java, advanced Java, UI, and Oracle database from Ashok IT. So still, I need to undergo training for the Spring Boots, which will be starting in down the line in 10 days. So yes, Ashok, this is my brief introduction about my technical skills as well as my degree.
All right. What is Java and how it is different from C language?
Yeah, Java is a complete oops. It's like a high-level language, so which will help us to design the web pages and configure the enterprise editions. So whereas when we compared it with C++, C++ is not a complete oops. It doesn't come under this oops concept because we have some sort of like virtuals and friends methods which will be used as part of that. It's kind of like we have some pointers which is differentiating with the Java. So Java has got a rich features and rich interfaces as well as like enterprises, so wherein it will be helpful for us to manage the business components as well as like designing the UIs and designing the high level devices as well as like. So we can see that Java is considered as a very popular language among the languages which are available in the market. Because of its more flexibility and which it contributes for millions and billions of devices.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other difference between C and Java?
So far as I am concerned, these are the differences I can list down as.
Okay.
Yes. Sure.
Can you tell me what are the features of Java?
So we have features like it has like classes, it has like objects, and it covers the umbrella of like 4 pillars of OOPS concept, wherein we can say inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, and we consider as like Java is a robust and platform independent. Java supports a lot of devices as well as like systems and different operating systems also. So wherein I say that it's a platform independent, so it's like we can write it once and execute multiple times. So because it generates bytecode, so wherein that bytecode would be executed in any of the machines. So wherein we should have like only JRE should be installed, and we should have a JVM. So wherein it's going to take that bytecode and it's going to execute the code.
So C is platform independent or platform dependent?
So C is platform dependent.
Okay. How Java became platform independent?
So because of this richness in providing the bytecode, wherein it's going to convert in Java understandable language, wherein we have to have this JVM installed on other machines, wherein if let us say we have 2 machines, on one machine we are going to write the code, and that machine from that machine we are going to take the code and we can execute in a different machine, wherein we should have a JVM installed so that it can understand that particular code and it will execute the code.
Okay. What is the difference between JDK, JRE, and JVM?
So JDK is like development toolkit. So it comprises of like we can develop the application, and JR is like Java runtime environment when it will provide you to execute your code, and JVM is like a virtual machine wherein it's going to execute your code.
Okay. What is static in Java?
So static is a keyword. So the static plays a vital role in executing the code without creating an object of that particular class. Let us take an example. If we have some set of things which is not changing for object to object, so in that case, we can go with the static. So static is very powerful keyword. It will be considered as like, it will not change its behavior for the objects that we are creating. Mm-hmm. So it can be applied on variables. It can be applied on this methods as well as like yeah, it can be like, we can have the static blocks also.
Okay. What is the difference between instance method and static method in Java?
So instance method that we are going to declare as part of class. So static methods, let us take an example. So if you want to declare some variables which can be accessed across the class within the methods or outside of the methods. So for that we are going to use the instance variables, and static variables are like, it will be static, as you said, that it's kind of like a constants for the objects actually. So here, when we talk about this static variables, so they cannot be accessed. They cannot be accessed within the non-static methods, but instance variables can be accessed within the class.
What is a local variable?
So local variable would be if you have something defined within the method, so that we can call it as like a local variable. So the scope of that variable will be remaining at the method level. So when we consider this memory management, so generally we have like method areas, heap area, and stack. So the scope of this particular method, particular variable will be applicable to the method itself. So when the method is created, the scope will be of this variable will be created within the method and destroyed. The variable will be destroyed.
Okay. So let's take an example. I have a student class. In that I have one instance variable and I have one static variable. I'm creating 5 objects for that student class. Then how memory will be allocated for those variables?
So if we are creating object for 5 objects, so we are going to get the heap memory for this. And for the static, if we are creating any variables or any methods in the static, so it's going to get some space at the space that is assigned for the class loading area.
Mm-hmm. How many times memory will be allocated for static variables? How many times memory will be allocated for instance variables?
So static variables, we are going to get it for once, and instance variables, whenever we are going to create the object, so it's going to get the memory for that instance.
Okay, perfect. What are access modifiers in Java?
So access modifiers, it's going to control, or we can say that it's going to limit the scope of the particular members of the classes. So we have default, public, private, and protected. So when I say private, it is limited to the class and it cannot be accessed anywhere outside of the class. And when we say default, it is accessible within the class and outside of the class within the same package. But public is the scope of this public is wider than all the access modifiers that we have in Java. So it can be accessed anywhere within the class and outside of the package and outside of the packages in the classes in the packages of outside. And coming to the protected, it will be accessible within the class, outside of the class within the same package, but outside of the package in the subclasses. So it's not directly accessible by the packages, outside packages of the classes, but we can access through the subclasses of that package.
Okay. Suppose, assume that I have created a class with the private. Then what will happen?
So if we are declaring any class as private, so we cannot extend it. So it's not appreciated if we create any classes with the private. So the scope of that particular class will remain itself, and we cannot extend it, or we cannot use any of its properties outside of the class.
Can I compile and run that program? Assume that I have created a class called demo. Demo class is having a main method. Just I want to print a welcome message using the demo class. That class I declared as a private class demo. Can I compile and can I execute that demo class?
Yeah, sure. So I assume we can do it, but sorry, I did not come across this situation anytime.
Okay. Okay. What is constructor?
So constructor is kind of a method which does not return anything. So it plays a vital role in initializing the instance variable of the class during object creation. So this constructor will help us to initialize the instance variables, as well as it's going to play a vital role in defining defining the defining like accepting the parameters and kind of like we can perform as like logics that we perform as part of the method, but only thing is like we cannot use it as like a method because it doesn't return anything. And the other constraint that we have with the constructor is like it should have the class name, same as like a class name.
Suppose if I write a return type for the constructor, assume that I'm writing void return type, then what will happen?
So by default it is void. So I assume that it should not return any set of error. But yeah, we should not define any return type for that particular constructor.
If I write it, what will happen?
So generally, I'm assuming that it should throw the error.
Are you sure?
I'm little skeptical about it, Ashok, but I can say, yeah, it should throw the error. So as we see that there is no return type for the constructor, but still if we place the void, it should throw the error.
Okay. After this interview completed, just try that once.
Yeah, sure.
What is the difference between interface and abstract class?
Yeah. So interfaces will have a complete concrete methods in it, and whatever variables we are defining inside these interfaces will have like, public, static, and final. So we cannot change the behavior of these variables. But whenever we are trying to, use the interfaces as like, we have to implement the methods of that particular interfaces whenever we try to implement in a class. And whereas coming to the abstract classes has a different behavior when we compare with the interfaces, because it has got both concrete as well as like, abstract methods. So concrete, we can provide some behavior of that particular, like if we are specifying any method, so we can still provide the body for that method. And few methods, if we are not providing the body, so then we have to make them as like abstract. So there are other limitations with the abstract classes. If you are defining at least one abstract method in a class, that class should be marked as like abstract. So otherwise it's going to throw the error. And here abstract classes can have the constructors, but interfaces do not have the constructors. And we cannot, for both of them, we cannot create the object. And as far as like we have like after Java 8, so we are able to have this default methods can be defined in interfaces. And we can have static methods defined in the interfaces.
Can I write a concrete method in the interface?
Yes, we can do it, but we have to have this default. Another one is like we can do it with the help of like a static method.
Okay. What is string constant pool?
Yeah, so string constant pool, this is a separate memory which is allocated as part of a heap. So here we can see that whenever we are defining any string literals, so let us take like I'm defining string str is equals to Ashok. Okay. So in this case, what it does is like it's going to create some space in string constant pool. So whenever I create any other string, let us take like I'm creating string str1 is equal to Ashok. So what it does is like it's going to go and refer to the particular string which is already created in the string constant pool. It's kind of like separate memory which is created for the strings to handle them in a better way and to have this memory optimization. So let us take like if we have any other objects that we are creating. So what it does is like when it looks into the new keyword, so it's going to go and create some space in the heap, but it's not the similar case with the string. So whenever we have any literals defined here and the value that we have a similar value, let us say we have created 100 strings has 100 Ashoks there. So what it does like it's going to this all variables whatever we have created. So this will be referring to that particular value which is there in the string constant. It's kind of like to have the efficient way of managing the memory. So string constant pool has been designed.
What is the difference between string buffer, and string builder?
Yeah, so string is immutable. So the nature of the string is immutable because let us take we have created string str1, str2, str3. So in this case, yeah, I'm defining like str1 is equal to Ashok, str2 is equals to some Ashok 1, 2, 3, and str3 is equals to str1, and I'm doing some operations on the string. So in that case, what happens is like we made string as like immutable. So it doesn't change its nature. So in this case, there could be possibility of losing the data. So for that reason, strings are made immutable, and string buffer and string builders to enhance the features of string. So whatever we feel that it's not considered as part of a string. So let us take, like, if you want to add few more things to the existing string, in that case we can go with the string buffer and string builder. And the main difference between this string buffer and string builder is, like, string buffer is the synchronized and string builder is like non-synchronized.
Okay, perfect, got it. Yeah, can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, open a notepad. Can you write a Java program to separate alphabets, numbers, and special characters in a string?
Yeah, sure. So let me take the string. So is it fine if I can write this pseudocode?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's take a string ABC123 @ something like that. Mixed values.
Okay.
Mixed values are available. Yep.
Yeah, is this the string that we are getting?
Yeah, right.
So for this, what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to
And
take
one more thing, keep XYZ at the end. Alphabets are there.
Okay.
Yeah, keep XYZ at the end. Right. Now I want you to separate alphabets, numbers, special characters.
So the output would be ABC, XYZ,
ABC, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3.
okay. Numerics, so numerics is 1, 2, 3, and special characters that I'm going to
Right. At the
add
rate
this, right?
hash.
Okay, $. Okay.
Correct.
So for this, what I'm going to do is, like, I'll give my approach here. So first I'm going to define them as like character array. So here, so we have a method called toChar array.
Mhm.
So after this, what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to use a for loop and iterate them. I equals 0. Character dot length. So here I'm going to write a logic here. So it says, like, if I'm going to take a character class, so I'm going to check if that particular character, whatever I'm checking, is a digit. So before this, I'm going to define some character strings here. Strings, I'll say that alpha, number, and special character. So let me assume these are the things here. So number, it is already defined, so I'm just defining it here string. I'll copy this to paste it here. So if it is a character is type of a is digits, then what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to just add it to the number. So likewise, if it is like else, if it's a character. So these are the methods which are available under this character class. So yeah. So if this is a alphabet, then I'm going to add it to the alpha. So finally, we have only things left as like characters, special characters. So in this case, I'm going to use the special character here. So SPL character. Yeah, post that I'm going to, after verifying this, so I'm going to just close this. I'm checking, after checking this, I'm going to close this for loop. After that, I'm going to print.
Yeah, I got it. Can you check your syntax?
Yeah,
This
sure.
is correct.
Sorry, I just made a mistake here. It is else if.
Right. Cool.
So after this, I'm going to print all.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just SOP statement. You can leave it.
Yeah, thank you.
What is collection framework in Java?
Yeah, collection framework is like a data structure for us. So in collections framework, so we get Java considers collection framework to handle whichever you know whichever are like disadvantages as part of like arrays or any other thing. So any other like if you are trying to store objects, or if you are trying to handle the object operations, in that case collections would be very much helpful. And we have like list. We have few interfaces which are considered as part of collection framework, so which are like list, set, and map. So whereas coming to the list, so it will help you to handle the objects, and set also it help you to handle the objects. But we have a difference between list and set. So list, it's going to preserve the insertion orders and the retrieval, if you want to do the retrieval operations, or if you want to do set of insertion or deletion operations, that will be helpful. In case of set, we have like if you want to ignore the duplicates, or if you want to remove the elements, or if you want to if you want to organize or sort the particular objects in particular order, so then we can go with the set. So in case of maps, we have like key value pair, so wherein we are going to store the elements in key value.
Okay. How to handle exceptions in Java?
Yeah, exceptions are basically the thing with the exception is like abnormal terminations. To handle this, we are going to use try catch. These are the keywords that as part of like Java. So wherein we are going to write the risky code in try block, and the in catch block we are going to handle those exceptions, and the exception handling will be done to continue the program. So it will be like it's kind of like a graceful degradation of anything. So if anything is like kind of a risky code which is abnormally terminating or terminating the program without warnings, so in that case we are going to go with the try catch blocks, and we are going to handle them. The other way of handling the exceptions is like we can throw the exceptions. So this throws is a keyword which will be used to throw the exceptions whenever we find anything with the code. So we have different exceptions available in Java, wherein we say checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So checked exceptions are like it is compilers assuming that these exceptions would be returning when we try to execute the program. But unchecked exceptions are like kind of exceptions which will be coming at the runtime. So in that case, we are going to use the try catch blocks to handle that exceptions.
What is a try with resources?
Yeah. So I just heard about it, Ashok, but I did not come across about it.
Okay, cool. Rahul, I'm done from my side. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, Ashok. So what are the roles and responsibilities will be given to me in case I get selected? And what are the improvements that I have to do as part of my interview?
We are looking for a candidate who can work on our microservices based application. We are following Spring Boot with microservices architecture. So basically, our team members will be developing the REST APIs. You need to help them to create the new REST APIs that we are getting from our functional team. And you need to have some knowledge on cloud platform, because our application will be running on the AWS cloud. All the infrastructure is there on that. So you need to focus on that Spring Boot REST API, as well as some cloud related concepts you should know.
Okay, that's great, Ashok. Yeah, thanks for your time, Ashok. I'm done.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.